Hello, friends. Welcome to Warrior Wednesday. I'm super excited to be connecting with you. I think I just hopped in 1 minute live because I was just super excited. I'm like, oh, shoot, I just hopped in 1 minute live. So if you're if you're on here live, I would love to see you comment so I can acknowledge you. And if you are catching the replay, my invitation to you is to comment below and say replay or hashtag replay so that I can acknowledge you in the replay. All right. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Zina Solomon, and I'm here to support you in reinventing yourself so you can create a life by design versus living a life by default, and that you can be in complete alignment with your vision, values, dream, passion, and purpose. That's what we are up to at this point. So, with that said, want to go into our topic for today, which is about self-sabotage. And so, have you ever been in a space where you were so close to achieving your goal, but you ended up shooting yourself in the foot? If that is you, I want you to comment below and say I, because I will say I've been there many, many times. I will admit that. I've many times been super close to achieving a goal, and then I would just like retract, or fear would creep in, or those negative conversations would creep in, and it would stop me in my tracks 100%. And so I have actually a few keys that will support you in interrupting those conversations, those negative self-talk conversations, and then so that you can really focus on creating what you're committed to creating. So I want to share a quick story with you first before I move into the top five keys that you can use. So this past weekend I was in Philadelphia, and I was coaching an emotional intelligence leadership training program, and there were so many lessons that I received from coaching other people in the program. And one of the biggest lessons that stood out was the question the trainer asked, which was, are you showing up in your life as the star of your own movie, or are you showing up in your life as an extra? And so I really want you to let that sink in, because I want you to really connect with how are you showing up in life? Are you showing up as an extra in your movie, or are you showing up as the star of your own show? Right? And I want you to know that you are the uncontested author, and you are the uncontested creator of your own life, and you get to choose how you want to live your life, because guess what? It's your life, right? So with that said, going into the self-sabotage conversation, so self-sabotage shows up in a couple of different ways. It's either unconscious or subconscious, or conscious or unconscious. And a lot of times it shows up unconsciously, not consciously, because no one consciously wants to self-sabotage themselves, right? But unconsciously it does happen. And so here's how you can notice when self-sabotage kicks in. So the first thing is to look at the conversations that are happening in your head. Like, what are those conversations? Okay, where are they coming from, right? The other area that you can look at from the sabotage perspective is, what are the repeated behaviors that you're taking, or repeated action that you're taking, and are they being driven by fear, or are they being driven by you being in your comfort zone, or are they being driven by your passion and your dreams and your vision? Okay. And then the third thing is, look at the emotional triggers that are coming up for you. So like, what did someone say that triggered you, or what happened that triggered you? Like, look at all these things. Okay. So the first key that will support you in addressing the whole self-sabotage conversation is to recognize. And so if you're in a space of like, you're overthinking, you're pausing, you're hesitating, you're in analysis paralysis, you are doubting yourself, all of those conversations are self-sabotage conversations. And notice the bully in your head, because a lot of these conversations are coming from in our heads. So notice what these conversations look like. So and know that these conversations are actually fueled by fear. They're not fueled by faith, and they're also fueled by, by scarcity, and they're fueled by limiting beliefs, basically. So I want you to really, really notice that. And the longer you stay in those conversations, the longer it lingers, and the more that you wait and you don't resolve it, the longer it stays. So you definitely want to resolve it quickly, otherwise it's just going to stay and linger with you. So the first key is to recognize. The second key is to reframe and interrupt the conversation. So one of the best tools that you can use for that is if you have a conversation that keeps telling you you can't do this, like, okay, I can't do it, I'm a failure, whatever, right? So then you reframe and you say, I wondered, with what is called the I wonder statement. One of my mentors shared this with me is, I wondered how much fun I'm going to have in creating my business. Or I wondered how I'm going to be really successful in doing this. So when you reframe that conversation, it really puts you in a different energy where you're really focusing on what you want to create versus focusing on what you don't want to create. So if you're resonating with this message, I want to hear from you and want to see you, and I want to see you engage because I want to connect with you. Okay? So the third key is letting go of perfection. Let go of perfection, and also practice being compassionate with yourself. Like, be compassionate with yourself, be compassionate with other people. Like, we all have these inner thoughts in our heads. So you're not alone. I'm not alone. We're all in this together. So be compassionate with yourself. Notice those conversations and be in the space of letting go of perfection. It doesn't have to look a specific way. What you want to create is you want to be in the space and the energy of creating what you want to create. So that is the third key. The fourth key is this one is a big one actually, is use your emotions and don't let your emotions use you. So ask yourself, are your emotions being driven and led by fear? Or are your emotions being led by your vision and your dreams and your passion and your purpose? So it's great to be emotional, but if you're like a hot mess and you're like in a space of constant breakdown and you're letting your emotion of fear, anxiety, suffering, all that stuff lead the path to what you're committed to creating, you're not going to get a good result. You're actually going to self-sabotage, right? And so notice how you're fueling your emotion and notice what the source of these emotions are. Okay, so use your emotions to your advantage, not to your disadvantage. All right, so that's the fourth key. The fifth key is to think beyond yourself. And what I mean by that is to focus out. So when you're self-centered and you're like self-sabotaging, you're really into yourself. But when you focus out, you're actually making a difference for other people. So focus out, make a difference for another person, and ask yourself what gets in the way of you truly making a difference for another person, because that is something that's stopping you. That's a self-sabotage conversation right there as well. Okay, so again, I'm going to do a quick recap on the five keys, all right, that will support you in letting go and interrupting those self-talk conversations. So the first key is to recognize. Second key is to reframe and interrupt. Third key is to let go of perfection and be compassionate with yourself and others. Fourth key is to use your emotions and not let your emotions use you. And the final key is to think beyond yourself and to focus out and to make a difference. So those are the five keys. So my mission for you, because we are warriors and it's Warrior Wednesday, my mission for you is to identify which of the five keys that I shared with you will make the most difference for you in those self-saboteur conversations or self-sabotage conversations that you're having, and I want you to comment below and share with me what that looks like for you. Okay, and then the other part to this mission, mission one, that's mission one. Mission two is to identify your top 3 saboteurs. What are those conversations? I want you to write them down. I want you to journal about them, and I also want you to connect with the source of those conversations, and I want you to use the key of reframing and to reframe that conversation into something that will empower you in what you're committed to creating by starting with the statement of I wondered. Okay, so those are your 5 keys and your mission, and my invitation to you is, if you received value from this message, my invitation is for you to focus out and be generous and to tag someone, comment, like, share. Let's spread the word. Let's really support each other and create a movement to really release this self-sabotage conversation and to make a difference for each other. So with that, I thank you for tuning in. And if you're catching the replay, comment with #replay so I can acknowledge you. And I will see you next week on Warrior Wednesday. Same time, same station. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.